everybody to episode 2, officially, of the Emt.Podcast. Here joined with Alec Scheller.
It's me, it's the ALEC.
And I'm Alexander Rodriguez. Welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some pretty serious topics today. It's, not incredibly serious, but we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of like what people do, what we are, what we should be doing in life. But firstly, let's get right into it.
Mm-hmm. We're in the end game now.
All right.
So I would like to start because I know you've done a lot of the talking as far as question asking in the last one. But something I've always been inspired by with you is you always seem very organized. You always seem very motivated. You always seem really ready for the next project. That's something I feel like I've struggled with. I'm motivated once I'm working, but sometimes I struggle taking that first step sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I know I really struggle when it comes to organization. So I guess for me and for anybody listening, what tips do you have? What techniques do you have for organization and motivation?
Well, I could start off on motivation because organization is a big one to tackle. Mm-hmm. I definitely recommend people, if they're looking into like organizing their lives around a certain thing, is first asking yourself the most important questions. Where do you see yourself in the future long term, and how do you think you'll get there? Basically, just planning out. It's all basic planning, putting steps in front of you to get to where you want to be, your goal. And I think that leads into motivation. Whereas your goal is your motivation, so you have to ask yourself, what do I want to be? For us, it's filmmakers, right?
Yeah.
For you, it's more acting and directing. For me, it's directing, producing, cinematography, whatever, filmmaking. And I asked myself, personally, for motivation is, this is what I want to do. How can I make a name for myself, but still be working for myself? How do I want to make the things that I want to make, see the things that I want to see on the screen? And I know that to get there, it's very hard, and having the right mindset is important, especially for motivation. When you're looking for the motivation in the right place, you have to surround yourself with the right people and just keep reminding yourself of that one goal that you have. So for me, it's getting to LA, starting my own production company, start producing stuff. For our own YouTube channel that we have right here, it's Emt.Films.
Emt.Productions.
Yes.
Or Emt.Films.
Emt.Films. You've had one too many, son. It's okay, though. Everyone's allowed to drink in moderation, right?
Damn, just call me out real quick.
No, it's okay. I mean...
EMT, Emerald Torch Productions.
Guys, it's Friday.
It's Friday!
Yep.
Oh, there was, sorry, this is off topic, but, so my friend, Brandon Wooten, if you're out there listening, shout out. He moved to Florida, and he sent like a snap just out or something, and he was like, "It's Friday!" Like, I don't know, that's like such a DMV thing. I don't know. From that radio guy, like, it's Friday! Yeah.
It was like a weird, I remember that.
Yeah, he was like, because like we got into a conversation about it, and he's like, yeah, I remember literally like looking forward to hearing that on the radio, like,
yeah, every Friday.
Yeah, like especially when he was like driving to school and stuff, and I was like, that's such a weird thing that like, it's weird that like different local areas have that.
They have their own announcer guy.
Yeah, well,
kind of like
and not just that, but there's so many different things that make us unique to our region. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's such a we always see ourselves as one big country, but like there's so many unique things to like the DMV, to the tri-state area, to the California.
Yeah.
Even the Midwest. I'm sure there's like cliques between like Dallas, like Kansas City, and like Colorado or some shit. Yeah. You don't think about that, but like constantly there's stuff all over the world.
It's very
different people yelling Friday into your radio. And it could be us for the price is right.
Hey, it's Friday. It's Friday, Come on.
What is that, Verde? No, that's the green. Sorry. Trying to learn Spanish, sorry, everybody.
He's getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, trying.
Anyways, that leads us back to our motivation, too, with the whole Friday thing. It gave you something to look forward to when hearing that. So when it comes to motivation, just having that one thing be the thing that you get to is what keeps you going. I know for me, I work a 9 to 5, and I'm also trying to get this YouTube channel thing, and I count the days until the weekends where I can work on the projects that I want to work on, or in the afternoons when I get off of work. I'm just like, yeah. And don't get me wrong, I love my job. My job is great. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, other than my YouTube channel if that grows. But you know,
which I think we'll get.
Which I think we got that this year. I think we'll make it. In July, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I really want to hit at least 1 million
by the end of the year. I think we could do that. Yeah, honestly, I think we could do that. You guys, especially with what we got going. I will say though. So, I guess for me personally, I don't find struggle when it comes to being motivated to work for things I really enjoy. If you say like, let's make a film or let's make a YouTube channel or let's do something that is directly in line with what I want to do. I'm there, I'll learn it, I'll do it. You have a script that I want to learn, I'll learn it. Yeah. If you have a film that we want to do, I'll do it. But I think I struggle when it comes to those things that are on the outside. As far as like, I'm going to get personal here, but this whole Nova degree. This is something I should have had a Nova degree at least 5 years ago. No bullshit. If I would have been motivated and if I would have really been motivated from the jump, I could have had it. And obviously, like, people get Nova degrees in like 2 years. Yeah. You know, it's not that hard to do. But I don't find myself motivated for it. I find myself sometimes I compare it to being in open water, honestly, because it's like, I know what I want to do. I want to make films, but I don't see the degrees at Nova. I mean, they literally just came up with a cinematographer or a cinema major recently, like really? Just in the past year. But like, the thing is, like, for until they came up with that cinema major, I mean, there were so many times where I was like, well, I have my acting certificate, but like, I'm told that I should have a degree beyond that, so I can have my side job, I can have my side hustle. Yeah. But I struggle with that side hustle. If you tell me I'm going to do film, I'll do it all day. But if you tell me you need a side job to do your acting job, I feel myself almost struggling to focus on two things at once, I guess. As far as keep myself motivated on two things at once. Yeah. I've had times where I've either got too wrapped up in my side job and made it my main job, or I got too wrapped up in acting and almost completely blew off my regular job. Yeah. And how would you balance that, I guess is my question. How would you balance that?
Okay, so balancing, personally, balancing stuff has been the most difficult thing for me to do because, to get even more personal too, I should have graduated, or I should have at least transferred to Georgia Mason like 2 years back or something. But balancing is the hardest part of organization. The way I went about doing it is I had to sacrifice certain things. Like, I had to give up. I know for a lot of people it's not that big of a deal giving up video gaming and stuff, but it is. It's an addiction. It is. Yeah, it's an addiction because it's fun.
It's a vice.
It's a great way to let loose. Mm-hmm. If you don't have, I mean, if your goals are not in line with playing video games, then it's kind of a waste of time.
It is. It really
like
is.
The only time I'd recommend for anybody to play a video game if your goal is not starting a YouTube Let's Play channel or live streaming, that kind of thing, mm-hmm. is on the weekends or when you're like at home not doing anything and just sleeping.
Yeah, and I think there is a perfect balance that some people are able to get to, mm-hmm. but even then you have to understand you're sacrificing time, and we only have so much time on this earth. I mean, if you really 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 want to do something, as much as it sucks, mm-hmm. You have to give up that free time to do what you want to do.
And if you believe that your time's important, then you'll find a way to balance things out. I believe my time's important too, so that's why I kind of just like said, F it, I'm not gonna play video games anymore until like I reach a certain goal, and then I'll like play a game for like a day, and then that's it for like another 5 months or whatever.
Or possibly if somebody in the YouTube comments says, I really want to see you play video games and do like a Let's Play, then we'll do it.
Why not?
Then we'll play video games every freaking day for you guys.
Dude, if you do that, please
just our lives would be so much easier. No, but I also struggled for video game addiction. I honestly, to this day, I think I lost a good chunk of my childhood to playing video games. Because I would play video games from, like, dawn till dusk. Like, and from dusk till dawn. Like, I mean, some of my best and my worst memories were playing video games, like, for a 24-hour period, like, at 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, I feel... In hindsight, I regret that because, like, oh god, I could have went out, I could have played with people, I could have had fun, I could have networked. I mean, I know it sounds awful, or whatever. But yeah, you could have networked. I mean, networking starts the second you're born. People don't realize that, and I think not only do you build social skills, but you build connections because you never know where people are going to lead you. I've seen people in my life and in other people's lives where you meet them at a young age, but yet they continue to bounce back through. There's a saying in the acting community of always be good to the people you work with because you're going to see them again. All the same people who are in the acting film community. It's as big of a community as it is, it's a small community.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to meet these people again, so don't burn bridges.
Yes, and especially here in Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a very small community. As far as who I know, it's very small. Like I come across some of the people like, oh, you know this guy? Really? He's great and stuff. And I would say, yeah, he's a great guy. When we worked on this one thing, it was amazing. Like Mr. Scheller, he's fucking fantastic actor. I could not
put that
recommend
Mr. on there too.
Mr. too.
That's how everybody knows me, Mr. Scheller.
Mr. Scheller. Mr. Scheller is my father.
No, that's me.
That's you.
I'm your daddy. I'm your father.
Yeah, but no. Again, guys, we're not demonizing playing video games or anything.
No.
If that's your outlet,
if it's an escape for you, it's great.
Yeah. If it's even if it's not your goal, like if you set like an hour limit on yourself of playing video games, that's all you need. Yeah. Really, like it, because if you keep playing it and you just keep putting off whatever your goal is, then you'll never find motivation to get to accomplishing that goal. Yeah. You'll never organize yourself because you'll be dedicating a lot of time to certain thing like video gaming, and it's just not overall a good way of achieving your goals in order.
But I do think, and actually Philip DeFranco had a video earlier today about this, but there is a toxic atmosphere out there right now where people are always saying like no sleep, just grind all day, like successful people don't sleep or successful people don't stop.
I think that's wrong.
So wrong. Successful people sleep. Successful people have that escape because if you continue to grind 24/7, 100 or 365 days a year, you're gonna burn yourself out.
Yeah.
You're gonna start to hate what you do because you're constantly doing. You can't constantly do something. Everybody needs a vice. Everybody needs something for an escape. Everybody needs a way to relax. Whether it's watching movies, whether it's playing video games, whether it's bebeo de cerveza, drinking beer, whatever it is. Yeah. As long as it's done in moderation and it doesn't interfere with your overall goal. You set, like you said, set limits, set time constraints. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm only going to have 3 beers and then I'll drive into a tree. Limits and goals. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Limit yourself to 3 beers, then drive into a tree. Goals.
You hear that, Miss P? You know what I'm talking about. 3 beers.
3 beers and tree. Yeah.
Codename Miss P, by the way. You guys will see her on our films one of these days.
One of these days. We had funny. Seriously, I know this is once again off on a tangent. I'm really excited. I know we didn't accomplish a ton today in our little, like, getting people together for our meeting, but just in the few talks that we've had with the people that have answered and called, I really am excited about this summer, man. I really think, like, if we organize this and we maintain motivation, not only, and that's another thing that's difficult, but something I personally enjoy, is maintaining motivation and morale in a group. I think with the right group and the right people around you, anything is possible.
I think you're right about that. And I think just you and me having the mindset of like, we're doing this year and this is how we're going to do it. Motivation and just overall an enjoyment of being so passionate about a certain project it's infectious.
Exactly.
It helps people see, oh wow, these guys are really passionate about this one thing.
They want to do it. It's going to happen.
I want to help them.
And honestly, like, there's an idea of positive thinking, positive talking that's out there that I think is really great. Mm-hmm. Where you can talk something into existence. The first time I ever heard about it was when I was going to court, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna go to jail. And they're like, no, don't say that. Say it's going to be dismissed. And I said it, and I said it, and I said it, and eventually the case was dismissed. That's a bad example, but no, I honestly believe that. Like, if you really say something, if you keep your confidence level up, if you talk positively, and continue to just speak something into existence, it can happen. It can happen, but you can't speak it sarcastically. You have to believe it when you say it. Yeah. If you honestly believe we will make 20 videos this summer, and we will be successful on at least 5 of them, it will happen. It will happen. We will find our place. We will find our purpose. And that's really my main goal for this summer is I want to make a ton of videos, movies, whatever, and find our purpose. Mm-hmm. That's the main goal for me. Find what our niche is. And then the winter and fall will be exploiting the shit out of that to make money.
Guys, it's not just about money, but yeah.
It's also about success and fame. No.
Which comes along with money. Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah. Well, when it comes to the tricky topic of money and stuff, when achieving your goals, staying motivated in an organization, right? You kind of want to, and it's not a bad thing to be. I don't have the best word for it. So I'm just gonna go out and say isn't the best word the word I'm gonna use isn't the best. Okay, it's cheap, but don't think of it in the negative way. Think of it in it's like, all right, I'm saving money to invest in the future, for a future project. For example, for example, I'm not spending money on buying the latest equipment or buying a new camera and stuff.
Yeah, we just steal it.
I'm kidding. No, we steal. I have a resource available to me, and I'm very grateful for that resource. And
that we don't steal from. We do not steal from that resource.
We don't steal.
We treat that resource with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And we would pimp them out if we didn't just say we were stealing shit. But that was a joke.
Yeah.
Jokes are from comedy.
Guys, remember, this isn't Twitter. We don't say stuff and then take it.
This isn't Twitter. People don't actually listen to this.
Ouch.
Oh, no. Jokes all around.
Yeah.
If you're going to shoot it out there, you have to shoot at yourself as well. But I also think on a serious level, to be successful, you need a better motivation than just money and success and fame.
Yeah.
Because those are selfish endeavors.
Yeah.
And I think the greatest motivator is something that is going to be longer lasting than wealth, longer lasting than fame. And I think part of the reason we do these podcasts is to hopefully, whether it's one person or 1 million people, to motivate somebody else, to inspire someone else, to hopefully get one person, like literally if one person listens to this podcast and says, I think I can make film and I want to take these people's advice and I enjoy listening to them and they make me feel better. And maybe, hell, this is my video game. This is my vice. This is where when I am relaxing between filming and school and work, I like to listen to this podcast and it relaxes me and it pushes me forward. That's what it's really about. Helping the next generation, helping the next person, and helping your fellow hermano and hermana. I think I said that right?
Yeah, you're doing good.
Cool. Your fellow brother and sister, whoever is out there. That's what it's really about, because we're all humans and we're all just trying to move forward. We don't have the ability to stop world hunger or stop... Is there such thing as like world dehydration? You would think, right?
No, you could say global warming.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But when
if you're thirsty out there, I feel you.
Yeah.
But we don't have the ability to stop that. But we do have the ability to express our experiences, our feelings, our thoughts on filmmaking, and hopefully help inspire the next filmmaker. Even though you are in the exact same spot we are in right now. Like, literally the exact same spot we are in. But hey, one day we'll be famous. And you'll look back on this and be like, oh my God, they were in the exact same spot I'm in. I can do this, and that's the goal. That is the goal.
That's the dream right there.
Play the bass. Nope.
Boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom, boom, boom.
But yeah, that's what it's all about. It motivating and inspiring people.
That's what film's about too, I think.
That's what we should all strive for. Mm-hmm. Not just in film production and in the film industry. Although I do think I have some things to say about the film industry, but that's neither here or there. It's important because it's done a lot of great for us. It's inspired you and me to like get out of what we were doing before and just say, hey, let's make an effort to make a name for ourselves. You know, the industry's big enough, and it's big enough to get lost in, but it's also big enough for you to make your voice heard. Yeah. Because the water might look deep, but it's not. It's very shallow.
Very, very.
But especially now, because like, what's it? 29. It's 2019. We have the most like complex resource, or the most advanced resource. In human history, the internet. The internet can literally take you.
I thought you were talking about me.
From point A to B.
The most complex resource. No, but yeah, you're right. I mean, like, the thing that blows my mind is not that the fact that not everybody is making a movie right now. Or a sketch, or a Vine, or a fucking Vine. God, how old am I? Fucking meme or whatever it is.
It's TikTok now.
Yeah, it's TikTok. I've been thinking about getting into TikTok.
No, I heard that they're shutting down soon or something because of like the CEO being.
Piano's really into TikTok.
Is she?
Yeah, she keeps posting, like, she has a meme channel now on Instagram, and I follow.
That's I think that's the most popular thing to do now.
Yeah, it's gonna become a meme.
Be a meme.
But like, you don't make no money from memes. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I do stand up. Like, one of my biggest fears as a stand up was hearing one of my jokes, or seeing one of my jokes in a meme, because it's like. Yeah, I want to spread laughter. I want to spread love, but I want credit for it. Yeah. Like, you spread a meme, and, like, no one gives a fuck. Like, there'll be 15 different meme channels just literally just copy, like, screenshot, paste, cut out your name. Like, there's no credit. There's no credit. Like, that's the one thing I don't like about these memes is, like, yes, you're spreading laughter, but you're not getting credit where it's due. Yeah. Creators deserve credit. And, I mean, like, this is going to sound like the most 90s thing I've ever said on this podcast. Memes are the Napster of the new generation. Like, nobody's getting credit for any of their jokes. Like, there was that one meme channel that was stealing from, like, John Mulaney and, like, Hannibal Buress, like, and Jimmy Carr. All great comedians that you should listen to. Also, Chad Daniels, great comedian. Throwing his name in there. I was going to think of another one, but I lost it.
Alex Scheller.
Alex Scheller, that's a great comedian. Great save. Yeah. Alex Rodriguez with the save.
always. Anyways, so yeah. If that's okay, so where are we on the topic? I kind of lost myself.
We were talking about motivation, organization, and then there's a third thing that I don't think we've said once during this podcast.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, you ready for this? 3, 2. Transition shot. All right, relaxation. Ooh, and I know people like to relax because we don't get enough of that. With the
Corona Extra Cerveza. Oh, you know what blew my mind? So I was taking Duolingo the other day. Yeah. This is way off topic. Modelo means model. Yeah. I had no clue Modelo beer meant the model beer. I was like, my brain. It's like, Modelo time, fool. It's model time, fool. Yet not a single one of those memes have a model in it. More cholos than my model.
Yo, the cholo looks coming back, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah.
I might break out the button up.
So the other day I was at the grocery store and I saw some goth chick rocking the cholo look, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, goth chicks have always kind of been, like, on the edge of cholo look, though. Am I right? Like,
I don't know. This is the first time I've seen a real goth
Both of them have never found their place in America. Too far?
No, we love cholos.
Goths and cholos.
We love cholos, okay? They're
and cholos love goth chicks.
Yeah, and cholos love goth chicks.
I would ship that. I would ship that all day. Cholos and goth chicks?
I think goth chicks are cholos, right?
They are. They're just white cholos.
Yeah. There's also Spanish cholos. I don't know. You'd have to ask.
Are there Spanish goth chicks?
You'd have to ask Miss P. if she's into it.
Dude, she's not. I've actually asked her. I was like, "What?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
Would you be down if I wore like a button up and just did the top button? She was like, "Please don't." All
right.
She's actually like, no. She's a wonderful woman who Paulina. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna use her real name.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rocking it. I'm rocking my real name.
For you guys who were
no more aliases.
If you guys were just tuning in now, Miss P is actually
if you just wandered into the third hour of this thing.
Yeah. I mean, you never know people.
No. She one of the things I really admire about her is if since we're talking about what we would do once we are successful, she has a wonderful idea of how she would love to change, influence, and make Mexico better.
Make Mexico great again?
In a way. But like, she's very passionate. She's very passionate about her topics, and I feel the same way on a much smaller scale because it's Baltimore. I feel the way she feels about Mexico and Mexico City and La Paz is the same way I feel about Baltimore, where I would love to clean up the streets. I would love to bring art, influence, and just a new day to Baltimore. She feels the same way about Mexico because she knows firsthand there's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of good out there. Mm-hmm. But it's just been crippled by La Cartelas. La Cartel?
I think you said it right the first time.
Whatever. Yeah. The cartels, the banditos, and them accidentally letting them into their government. The cartels have gotten into their government, and that's one of the worst things. I would like to actually have her on the podcast. I would love to talk to her.
Yeah,
because she's one of the most fascinating. Like, she came over to my mom's house recently, and we had a really, really fascinating conversation for a few minutes before it devolved. Because me and my mom. My mom got wrapped up on the geography real quick, and I was like, she was saying something really important about like Mexico. And she's like, "Where's La Paz? I'm just wondering. So you're saying it's Baja California? So what's that, like below California?" Like, Mom, please, I love you to death, but like, there was a serious topic, and it flew right over your head.
And you're saying that's in Mexico, not New Mexico?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
How close is that to Albuquerque? Is that where Breaking Bad was filmed? That's how they got away with it. Did they really kill those guys on Breaking Bad? Like, Mom, you are so far from the point. It's painful.
Yeah, no, but I'd love to have her on episode.
Yeah, no, because she is so fascinating. She's so, like...
Hey, who knows? Maybe after the 48.
Probably. And she said she's down for that travel vlog, which I think would be amazing.
Yeah, guys, so subscribe, hit that like button. Make sure to tune in for the travel vlog that we're going to be doing soon. So, yeah. That's coming out possibly in July.
Chuck Whalen. Hopefully, I'm going to send you a link to this YouTube channel tonight. And look out for this podcast, because I'm going to shout you out, Chuck Whalen. You were the best teacher I ever had when it came to motivating me to do film. God, no, really. Can I just give a quick shout out to Chuck Whalen?
Yeah, go ahead. Chuck Whalen.
Chuck Whalen and the cervezas that I've been drinking. Seriously, though, Chuck was one of the great. He introduced me to piano. He introduced me to Rachel. He introduced me to Mickey. Mm-hmm. I would have never met you if I would have never been in his class. He knew from the jump that I had a passion for filmmaking. God, that was only in his Film Appreciation 2 class. Everything I just said was just Film Appreciation 2. I completely forgot there was a Film Appreciation 1 where I made one of my best films to this day. Sin Begot Sin, which is on my YouTube channel. I might actually send that to your YouTube channel, and then we'll just combine YouTube channels.
Yeah, let's do it.
My YouTube channel sucks. Honestly, I'd rather just promote Emt.Films at this point. So yeah, we'll do that tonight. I can just send you the links, and you re-upload them, or what? Is there a way to absorb that, or?
I can figure it out.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. Anyways, yeah, if it weren't for Chuck Whalen, I wouldn't be here. If it weren't for Chuck Whalen, I wouldn't believe that I could do film. Pepe was also great.
Yeah, that's what
Pepe was a great teacher, and I would say this will be my transition into what you would like to say to Pepe. Chuck Whalen was my Pepe, and he's retired now, so I can say it. The day after he retired, I drank a beer with Chuck Whalen.
Nice.
At Piano's concert.
Dude.
Which was like mind blowing. I was like one of my fucking most influential teachers. I got to cheers and have a beer. He paid for it too, which was great. He also paid for the CD piano CD, which I still have in my car. I listen to occasionally. Is it Juxtaposition or is it Juxt? It's Juxt. Great band too. Shout out to Piano. I don't know if we'll ever work together again, but still, I admire your work.
One day, want to work with one of those people. Piano Women. I'm not really too familiar with your work. I've seen some of your work.
Oh, I love her. She's a great director.
Yeah, Alec, Mr. Scheller.
Mr. Scheller.
My boy Alec, right? He he sticks his neck out for you. So like one of these days, let's make a short film.
I think she's a great cinematographer. And I think she's a better director than she believes. That's another thing. I think she's a lot better of a director. Because the last film we worked together, Queen of Mud, which I showed you today, a little piece of, she wasn't technically the director, and you can't see me doing the hard quotation marks with my fingers, but she was the director. She was guiding, she was essentially teaching the director how to direct as she was the cinematographer, which you got to give so many props to. Like, she's super talented. She's gonna be a somebody. If you told me she won an Oscar 2 years from now, I wouldn't even bat an eyelash. I'd be like, yeah, of course she did. Yeah, I look forward to seeing what she puts out.
Hopefully they say the same about us. You know?
Probably not. She'd probably be like, that dude Alec was pain in the ass to work with. No. I'd like to think I wasn't, but who knows?
That makes me sad.
I have no clue.
I take my shout back.
Yeah, I don't care.
Whatever, I don't care.
I have a very low bar of where I think other people see me. I see myself very high, but I always assume people see me at the lowest. Is that bad? It's probably negative. Probably shouldn't have put that on a podcast, but guess what? It's out in the ether now. Enjoy it.
Whatever.
Enjoy it, Thanos. Enjoy your ether.
Reference. Yeah, bringing it back.
Bringing it back to the Endgame.
Avengers Endgame, right? All right, so if y'all haven't seen Endgame, you're about to hear some spoilers, so if you're not interested in hearing spoilers, even though this, Alex is a spoiler.
Spoilers. It's been, the Russos lifted it. And by the time anybody starts listening to our podcast, we're probably like on Avengers Endgame 3. Like, we'll be fine.
No, I believe that we'll get some viewers for this.
I think we will. Yeah. I definitely think it will be next year. 2020. But, yeah, no, the Avengers Endgame, I was blown away. I cried. I enjoyed it. It was amazing. I can't imagine just like, when you think back to 2008, who would have guessed? You know, and you put so many films together, and you put all that work and effort, and like, for me, the thing that blew my mind the most about Avengers Endgame. Say what you will about the Hawkeye and Black Widow scene and who should have went over and who did went over, but those two characters I did not give much of a shit about on the first Avengers. Like, if you would have killed Black Widow and Hawkeye in the very first Avengers, everybody would have been like, no shit. They had no powers. Mm-hmm. The fact that I cried, spoiler alert, when Black Widow died, and I cried. I hard cried. That was the beginning of a long cry for me. Because, like, everything after that was like, cry. Yeah. My big three cries were Black Widow, not just when she was dying, but when they were fighting. The fact that they, like, loved each other to a point where they wanted... The fact they loved each other to a point where they were willing to not only sacrifice each other, but like stop the other person from sacrificing themselves. It just showed how deep that familial bond was, and I don't know, that was passionate. The second part was the 1970s part. The fact that, like, the juxtaposition between Tony Stark finally getting that closure with his father and Captain America not having that with Peggy Carter, just having to literally sit behind a glass and just be like, here's the woman that I miss, the one I love, and I'm stuck. I can't touch her. I can't say anything to her. And she's just there. And that was waterworks. And then obviously the end. I'll do my best not to spoil the end, but the thing with Captain America and Tony Stark was just the perfect ending for both of them. It's the exact opposite, actually, of what I thought. My fan theory was completely inversed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I thought for sure... No, fuck it. I'm spoiling it now. I thought for sure Tony Stark was going to go home with his family and kids. Because I thought, like... Because of his contract... Mm-hmm. He has a thing where if he comes back to any Avengers Endgame... Or any Avengers or MCU film, he gets like $1 billion bonus or some bullshit. So he didn't have like the motivation to leave, like career wise, the motivation for him to leave wasn't there. Where Chris Evans was like, he wants to direct, so why not kill off that character and guarantee yourself like I never have to touch Captain again. But like. The way they did it, like story arc wise, that's perfect. It's perfect because still Iron Man still had that perfect ending of like, yes, I had a kid, yes, I had my wife. I lived those 5 years perfectly while everybody else was in distress. But the one thing I needed was to sacrifice myself. The one thing I needed was to have closure as a hero and not just a selfish billionaire philanthropist playboy.
Mm-hmm. And it brings it all back to, like, I think the first Avengers film where Cap, when they were gathering around to get ready for the Battle of New York, he's like, you're not the kind of guy that put it all on the line, right? Mm-hmm. And then in the end, he puts it all on the line. He puts his family on the line, puts his own life on the line. Bookends the universe.
Yeah, it bookends the two Avenger films because he did put his life on the line for the first Avengers, and he finally ended his life on the line. I will say, one thing I did not like with that ending, I thought Gwyneth Paltrow could have acted a lot better.
Yeah, you think she'd cry a little harder.
Yeah, a little, like, give me a little bit more emotion.
But it also, like, I think she was expecting this from Tony. Like, it kind of felt like she was expecting him. Like, yeah. Because even when he's like, I discovered time travel.
She knew. She was like... knew. Of course, it was a matter of time for her. It wasn't a matter of would he, it's when will he. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. It's a good point.
And it's not that she didn't love him. She loved him as in the character, of course. Pepper Potts loved Tony Stark.
The only thing Gwyneth Paltrow loves is those eggs that she shoves up her vagina.
Does she do that?
Yeah, she does. She thinks that's like an actual like version of birth control. Is like putting essentially rocks into her vagina. Oh god. I did a whole I was doing speech and debate tournaments, and I was talking about the negative effects of alternative medicine. Like the things people, like essential oils and all the things that people think prevent disease when they don't, instead of like good old-fashioned vaccines. But yeah, actually Gwyneth Paltrow is like a huge she's really into crystals, essentially. She thinks that crystals, rocks, orbs could prevent anything from like ovarian cancer to pregnancy to like STDs. Like she is weirdly into it. That's a weird side note to go into, but it actually made me look at her a lot differently as an actress and as a person. She's essentially an anti-vaxxer, but like on a deeper scale where she doesn't believe in actual modern medicine.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, yeah, she had an emotional moment there at the end, I think.
Yeah, she could have delivered a little stronger, but
yeah,
for an ending that was so
it was good.
Yeah.
It was
come on, guys. If you haven't seen it already.
Yeah, watch that movie. Watch it.
I am Iron Man. Come on.
God.
Come on.
How do you like that's so perfect.
And I heard that he didn't want to do that because that was a reshoot.
You know what's really funny? First time watching it, because I've only watched it once, honestly.
I saw it twice. I was like, okay.
I would like to watch it a second time. In theaters, preferably. But the first time watching it, I kind of could tell that it was a reshoot. Because he has such a long pause before he says, I am Iron Man. It's like, I am Iron Man. But, like, it wasn't like a pause of, like, dramatic effect. Because, I mean, like, in all honesty, like, if I'm thinking, like, I'm in battle. as an actor, I'm thinking, I'm in battle. I barely just got these stones from this all-powerful, omnipotent, essentially God, as far as you're concerned. That's the closest thing that you've seen to God. Yeah, you know, the only thing close that anybody else on that battlefield has seen to God would be like maybe Ego, which was a literal planet. I think you would be a little bit more quick with it. You know what I mean? Like, I am Iron Man. Boom. Like, let's get this wrapped the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, but he had such a long pause where it didn't feel dramatic effect. It felt the actor didn't want to say what he was saying. Yeah. That's the vibe I got from it. So when I first found out like it was a reshoot, I was like, oh yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I couldn't understand why he wouldn't like it because it's such a great line.
So I read an article on it, and coming from an actor's point of view, I get it. Especially when you are done with a character and you have put that character away, especially if because with the practice 48 that we did, where the decompression exercise, which had mixed, I mean, I think it worked really well, but I think there was some extra stuff that was being unsaid. When you decompress, when you let go of of a character, when you let go of an emotion, when you let go of something, especially that's been so deep. 10 plus years that you've been working on this character, and you're finally letting him go. It's so hard to get put back in that mindset. It's so hard because it's almost like saying this might be a bad example, but if somebody close to you died, and you said your goodbyes and you said everything, and then all of a sudden they pop back up for 15 minutes. You'd be like, oh, well, I thought you were dead. I thought we were good. What am I supposed to do? You'd have that moment. It might not be long, but you're gonna have that moment of the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? I've said my goodbyes. I've made closure with this. I'm good with this. To have this back is it's jarring. It's difficult to deal with, and it takes some time to get back in that mindset of I am Iron Man, I am Tony Stark, I am this person, because there's a piece of you, especially in this scenario, where you're how can I be that person? He's dead. How can I be that character that it's dead? It's dead. I saw my funeral. You know, how am I going to go back and be I am Iron Man snap? You know, it's hard to do because once a character is dead, that's why a lot of times there's a few films where I've been told, remake it. It's a great film, but you didn't have the right actor, or it's a great film, but you just didn't have enough time, or it's a great film, but you could have done this or you could have done that. I want to go back and do it, but I can't because I'll never recapture that feeling. I'll never recapture that motivation. I'll never recapture that moment. I wanted to say organization to wrap it all in together, but I think you can recapture organization. But yeah, it's so hard to recapture a moment in anything, whether it's film, life, or it's hard to capture a moment. It's hard to do that. Only photographs can capture a moment, not people. And I think that's why we like movies. It's the closest thing we can do to capturing a moment over and over again. That's why we rewatch Star Wars a million times, because that moment that he shoots that, was it Proton Torpedo?
Yeah.
Star Wars nerds. But when he shoots that,
his nerd glasses as he says it.
Yeah, I'm actually proud. I had a brain fart. That's how you know, dude. I could have a brain fart on a math quiz and I'd get the answer wrong. But if it was Star Wars, Proton Torpedo, I'd be yep, you knew it. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that moment when the trench run, I could watch that right now. I'd cry. Watch that right now, and I've seen it a million times. I've seen the digital remaster. I've seen the 1997 special edition. I've seen the 1977 original in theaters. I saw that there was I don't think I can say it because they actually were not supposed to show it, but it was in a theater that is well known for playing old movies in the local area. But yeah, I saw that. And then every time, tears.
Oof.
Because you're capturing a moment that can't be recaptured, and to ask an actor to do that is one of the most difficult things. And that's why reshoots are so shaky. You know?
Yeah. I was never a really big fan of reshoots it wasn't because of that reason, but just more like, why didn't we get this the first time? But I understand now.
Oh, there's so much. I mean, you know for a fact, there's so much stuff that shows up in the editing bay. Mm-hmm. You know that you can't see until you're watching it.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to have somebody who's organized and well kept, who can keep track of what's on set, so that way we don't ever have to reshoot things. Mm-hmm. Brings us back to organization. What a great segue.
Yes.
So yeah, that being said, it's good to have. If you can't do the organization yourself, then it's best to have somebody else there to do it for you.
Like a script supervisor.
Yeah, script supervisor is great. If not, then take a step back from whatever you're doing. If you're directing, you just gotta kind of take a step back and say, hey, all right, actors, I trust you. Let me go check this out for a minute. Right.
Lo siento. Sorry, I definitely agree with you. I just had my director for a play that I'm doing send me a text.
A sext? Whoa.
A sext, yeah. I was like, whoa, what? Titties already? We haven't even had an audition. Or we haven't had a first read-through. No, no, she's...
There is...
No, it's just like a poll thing that I have to do.
Guys, I live near Dulles Airport.
Do you?
Yeah, Dulles is just like right over there, right? It's like 10 minutes.
We both live pretty close to Dulles.
Yeah. It's like a 10-minute drive. It's not too far away. Fucking airplanes fly really low and make the most annoying sound.
Okay. Sunday. Yeah, let's do the later one. I'm okay with it.
So that being said, right?
Oh shit, there's other votes I could do? Sorry. We're trying to schedule a first... sorry. It's first rehearsal, finally. Finally. I got this role like 2-3 weeks ago now. And there's like somebody that we were like waiting on. Can I delete my first vote? I do not want to wake up at 10. I really don't want to wake up at 10. I'll vote for any of these. Afternoon.
In the afternoon. That's copyrighted. Don't quote me on that, guys. Come on.
Enter my first name. Where do you want me? Yeah. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to break this up.
No, it's okay.
I'll do it later.
Podcast break. All right, fine. All right.
Sorry.
So
films.
We're back. So yeah, man, dude. I didn't know you did hardcore drugs like that. Whoa.
All right. Yeah, dude, heroin all day.
Okay, so we're gonna keep that under wraps. We're gonna hire a good lawyer, and they're gonna come in and make sure that you're protected, so that way the cops don't get involved and whatever.
Not again, man.
But yeah, so if you could bring us back into the podcast, that'd be
fuck the
sweet.
puzz. So yeah, like you were saying with the organization.
Okay.
And we're back with the podcast.
So yeah, organization, right? Whenever if you can't handle your own projects, get somebody to look at it for you. Have them look at it, take a step back, do what you need to do. But that being said, with the 48-hour that's coming up.
Well, actually, I would like to, because I think something I really admire with you with your organization is your whiteboard. I used to have a whiteboard, and I didn't use it as effectively as you've done it. I like the way you schedule things. Would you like to talk about that? Like how you schedule for not only your week, but your month, your year?
Yeah, sure. So it's for planning your week and your year, right? Especially your week, because the week's the most important thing. It's the short term. Mm-hmm. If you ever heard of long term and short term.
Yeah, it's the short term goals are going to get your long term goals.
Short term, it's fantastic. So what I do to plan my weeks out is I usually set a time, like an hour or two, on the weekend, and just look at my schedule that's coming up from Monday to Friday, and see what I can get done in that available time that I have. Get a nice calendar, or like you said, my whiteboard. Mm-hmm. Write down the times that are available. What takes up most of my time. I kind of like give it a nice little pattern, and I have that pattern with a nice little key bank that describes what that pattern is. That this is the times that I'm working my 9 to 5. This other time is the time available that I have when I get home from work, and the other times are just like class time. If I have school, I'm committed to this time, and I can't do anything else, because schedules are important. When you have your schedule, especially for you with your plays that are coming up,
mm-hmm.
your schedules are important, and I want to make sure that's something that's a priority for you.
Yeah.
Because when deciding what your schedule is going to be like for a week or a month, you have to decide what's the most important thing, right? What's gonna benefit your goal in the long term, like your future. For you, acting and directing, being in that play is the most important thing that you can do, right? So
no.
I gotta when we schedule stuff for Emt.Films for short films, we gotta take in consideration, all right? Because some of these things we're not getting paid for, right?
We're not getting paid for this?
I'm out of here, guy.
I'm out. I'm giving this mic. I'm out. There's a really go ahead. There's a funny Key and Peele sketch about a guy trying to get out of an interview, but he can't get the mic off. No, I'm fucking done. Don't touch me.
So your schedule, your time is important, and when scheduling stuff like that, it's very important to put that stuff first, and having that stuff.
Muy importante.
And this actually just jogged my memory about this week, right? This week was finals week, for me and for you.
I failed all those finals. I was supposed to do finals this week. Shit. I knew I was forgetting something, and goddamn. All right.
So yeah,
I'd like to apologize to our professors. No, I'm kidding.
Setting a daily reminder, putting it on your phone, cutting off YouTube for at least a week or whatever. Do what you gotta do to organize your time better, which means making as much free time as possible.
Yeah, Paulina actually does that really well. She actually has. I've never seen somebody actually use the alarms on their phone throughout the day. Like, she has alarms throughout the day. Mm-hmm. Like, we were hanging out last night, and I noticed that. So she likes to go to bed at 10 o'clock, except when she's hanging out with me. So
no, even then she has the clock. She's like, all right.
No bullshit though. Like, her phone went to do not disturb mode right at 10 o'clock. Right at 10 o'clock. It just popped up and it said, I was filming something for the Dia de Madre, which is the 10th in Mexico, which is different than America. I learned something. Culture. Anyways, while I was filming, the thing popped up and I was like, oh, wow. So she, no matter what, she has her schedule. She doesn't always have to follow her schedule, but she's always being reminded of her daily schedule. You know what I mean? And I think that can help a lot, because life happens. We're not always going to be able to go to bed at 10 o'clock. We're not always going to be able to, practice French at 2 p.m. We're not always going to be able to do all the things that we do every day. But to be reminded, like, oh, this is the time I normally do that. Well, I'm doing something more important right now. That's okay. Mm-hmm. But you're reminded that, okay, tomorrow I have to try a little harder at this time. Or, this is the time I would be going to sleep. So let me try not to stay up too late. Those little daily reminders, I think humans are creatures of habit. And the most difficult thing is to create a habit. To create and break a habit. So if you can create a positive habit for yourself, that is the most important. That's going to be one of the biggest keys to success. And I feel like that's one of the things I wish I would have done earlier in life, is create more positive habits for myself.
Enough said. Right?
Yep, end of podcast right there. Alex Scheller has bad habits. Thank you all for coming out. Please tip your bartender.
You're right about that, and it's very important to set up those positive habits, because there's negative habits and positive habits
all the time, every day.
And making time for yourself is a positive habit to have. For this week, it was finals week. I was falling behind in a class. I decided to say to myself, hey, this is the last week. I gotta put as much time. I took off some time off of work just to stay like the whole day at Nova, and for 2 days actually, and my legs still hurt because like sitting down in those chairs are uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And working through all that stuff. I'm still exhausted from some of the stuff that I did this week, but
he says this at midnight.
Yeah, it's.
I'm exhausted, but I'm still here.
I'm still here.
That's filmmaking for you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
No sleep.
No.
Successful people don't sleep.
No pain, no gain, right?
No, I'm kidding. Successful people do sleep.
Yeah.
Please get some sleep.
Yeah, and if you're not successful,
then don't sleep. There's so many parties going on right now you could go to. Like, go be unsuccessful at a party. You'll seem less unsuccessful.
Yeah, you might find some success with like the local
beer tap. With the hoo-ahs, as they say in the Sopranos.
The hoo-ahs?
Hoo-ahs. Polly Walnuts.
Is that
you sitting there with a hoo-ah.
Is that another word for local stripper?
It's a hoo-ah. It's a weird, because it's the emphasis on the who and whore. Mm-hmm. Hoo-ah.
Who?
Hoo-ah. You're breaking up the word whore, but like, hoo-ah.
It's like the weird.
That's the Italians for you.
It's like the weird Jersey Italian.
Yeah, that weird, like the Sopranos essentially.
Hoo-ah.
The early naughty Italians from fucking New Jersey.
But yeah, no.
Let me get a hoo-ah.
I think this is a good place to stop the podcast.
Yeah, me screaming hoo-ah.
But yeah, no. Join us next week maybe. Whenever okay, so it's 12 o'clock. I'm tired, but
it is. But just remember, Warriors come out to play.
Shit, we're copyrighted now.
No.
Yeah, but no. So yeah, join us next week after the 48-hour film festival.
Blew out your mic, like a dick. In the last few seconds.
You're making my ears bleed. Anyways,
thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Because we'll see you the week after the 48.
We will. We'll have a post 48 podcast.
We'll have a post 48 party, hopefully.
Oh, that'd be really cool. We could have everybody on the podcast.
Yeah,
we'll have a few people on the podcast.
That'd be fun.
There's a few people I don't want on the podcast. No,
we'll see. We'll see. We'll have the one.
No,
we'll have Pauline on.
Definitely have Pauline on.
Yeah.
No, there's a few people that I'd actually like to have on the podcast if we were.
Let's make this a foursome podcast. The Foursome Podcast. Join us on the Foursome Podcast.
Foursome Podcast. One day we'll release the 420 podcast. One day. I think you can guess what day it will be. 420.
The lost episode.
The lost episode.
Guys, keep a
lookout. We'll have like a few lost episodes.
No,
we'll probably have a few by then.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
I
don't know what we're doing.
Yep. Make sure to hit that subscribe button.
Hit that subscribe button. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to our Instagram, and follow us in real life. I need more stalkers.
Yeah, because
my current ones are boring.
Life's more interesting with more new stalkers.
Yeah, more stalkers the better.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, this is the end. Bye.
Adios.
Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good.
Did I show you the thing that I made?
No. Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I don't give a shit. I'm showing you again now. Right. You shouldn't have said that you didn't see it. Right. You shouldn't have said that you didn't see it. Right. You shouldn't have said that you didn't see it. Right. You shouldn't have said that you didn't see it. You shouldn't have said that